short, long history. I did two majors in two different universities in Brazil. My first one was business, like business administration, but this was in the best Brazilian university for that course. And the second one was law, because here in Brazil, since I was young, I kind of see a lot of institutional problems, because I see a very big country with a lot of intelligent people inside, a lot of potential, but like Brazil don't express his power because we have corruption. Our base of our population don't have the education necessary to defend democracy in the bigger sense and this kind of thing. So I tried to study law to understand the algorithms of the institutions, and business administration because it's something generic that you can work like entrepreneurship or you can work in a company, something very generic. And after that, I worked with both for business and law. And in a moment, I started to look to Austrian economic, like Friedman, Hayek, and Menger. This curiosity, this flash of light in my head was because the film Big and Short, like expressing how the real estate system in the US was totally faked, with like people that work in jobs like not normal jobs, in stable jobs, buying 3-4 apartments to rent and to sell again, flip. And I start to look at that and look, this is not right. Like this kind of thing, it's just strange, because after the bubble and all the things, the Fed from America printed like trillions of dollars. Just right there doing now, the same, printing more trillions of dollars. And in that moment, that then wake me like, hi, kinds don't work anymore. Like the traditional economic system and all the beautiful numbers that you can put in a spread of Excel and this kind of thing, not for me. I'm not a sheep, I'm trying to be contrarian. When I see things that don't express their storytelling they try to tell me, I'm really become curious to go deep. And after start this masters, like 3 months later, I was talking a lot about Bitcoin. And that was like the biggest hole, and I really enter in the bunny's hole and try to understand this incredible, amazing, and everyday dynamic system that is crypto. And when I say crypto, is 98% I'm saying Bitcoin. It's very important to say these things more clearly, because right now, after four years working in this industry and looking every day and trying to understand at least a little bit of that, in this phase, Bitcoin is almost everything. And every day I'm trying to understand a little bit more, and how Bitcoin can be used by people like Brazilians, Argentines, maybe Africans, or anyone that don't belongs to dollars, euro, or maybe Swiss francs. To understand Brazil, you have to, first of all, look to history. If you read for a book history in Brazil or even in Europe, you're going to read that Brazil has more than 500 years. But it's a lie. 500 years, one or two crazy Portuguese came here in Brazil and made a hoot. Maybe had 2 or 3 Indians for females, but that's not a country. Like 100 years later, they started to do farms here. Portuguese, like big farms, like 100 years later, small cities. And so I understand Brazil with a country with 200 years old, because Brazil started when Napoleon Bonaparte entered in Portugal, and all the court, the king, the queen, and all the bourgeois or the elite entered in 2 or 3 ships and came to Brazil. And that started Brazil. Because before that, it's just a 10 or 50, 20 maybe 100 big farms, not connected with not a economy or something like that. So this is the first point to understand Brazil. It's a very new society, very new and extremely intermixed, because in this, before the start of Brazil, we started something called like society. It was a mix between Africans, Indians, Portuguese, and this society, like Genesis, becomes later Brazil. But the first start is like when you look to London, London has 2,000 years. When you look to Lisbon, Lisbon has more than 2,000 years. If you look to Rome and different places in Europe, like you're very old, Brazil is very new. But America is new too. Okay, but the way that America organized the United States, when I say America, is totally different. It's like Protestant that came from Holland, some English people trying to go away from his king. They entered in America and the US to make a country. Portuguese came to Brazil to make farms. Very different. Saying that, what I can say is like, I have almost 40 years, 38 years to be precise. And what I saw in my perspective, and is Brazil is getting better decade by decade, because we have the DNA from curiosity to entrepreneurship to trying to solve problems, because the Brazilian bureaucracy has a lot of problems. So we are all trying to find a way, a path to become better. So I think Brazil maybe after COVID and after, because you're going to see, and we are seeing, but you're going to see for some time a big dispute, and even more than commercial dispute, between America and China. And I think this is going to be a big opportunity for Brazil. So I think what I can say to Brazil is that it's a land of opportunity, but it's not an easy land. You have to understand the culture and understand the institutions here. And after that, it's a very good place to invest money and a lot of opportunities to search here.